Creating visual texture papers using paint. We're going to need some tools for this, so let's make some. One of a tool that's used often is called a comb, like how you comb through your hair, right? We're going to comb through some paint. So I'll grab some cardboard, cut it into small pieces, and I can draw a design like jags or a wave or actual spikes that look like a comb and then cut them up. Where they touch the paper, it will remove paint, and where they don't, it will leave paint. We'll see that happening later on. Now I'm going to load up some of my palettes with, this is temper that I'm using, but you could use your acrylic paint or any other type of paint you have at home that's kind of thick. I've did the background and now I've added in some stripes. I don't spend a lot of time cleaning up my paintbrushes with this, but I do try to keep them separate. Here's one of those combs I made. You don't even have to cut everything off. Notice how I just folded it back. That's one of my favorite looks with that wavy kind of individual lines. I'm going to go ahead and go right back on top and add in some yellow dots. With visual texture, one of the ideas is I'm going to keep repeating an element like a dot or a line over and over and over again. I'm going to set it aside on some paper that I've set up for drying. To save myself with some of the paper and some of the mess, I'll fold that paper over so I have a good background. Now, Eric Carle used tissue paper. Here I have some tissue paper. I actually found some from wrapping paper that has design already. So I'm just going to use the back side because the front side was shiny. And go ahead and use blue and paint over. You'll notice that some of my brushes are bigger, right? I'm not just using the common small brushes. I'll use different brushes. Now here I'm going to do a flicking technique. Very messy it could be. Be careful if you're going to be tapping brushes and flicking. I had lots of paper surround me and wearing old clothes. Another piece of tissue paper, I'm using black. Again, using a larger brush so I can get a wider area. Another comb, it was a different cut. This was the wavy cut. All right, so notice the different pattern that was created when I scraped. Now I'm going to add in some white. And look, here's a fork that I'm going to use, right? So I'm dragging that through. Smaller lines are created. More of a scratchy little technique. Here it is, finished and dried. This paper was the background, but hey, I'm going to keep it because it might be good to use later on. It looks like it's got visual texture. All right, here I go. Let's try some more. I'm putting out all the colors because I don't have secondaries, but just from what I have, I can go ahead and mix things together. I'm going to do a print with this one. I've got all these old lids, and I am just going to put them into the paint and then tap them on my paper. Here I made green by mixing together my yellow and my blue. So now I can have some circles that are created from green. That's just a cap to a bottle here that I'm going to use to create some small circles that are overlapping. I can lighten it up, make it a tint of green by adding in some white. I have some yellow and some red, and if I do those together, I can make orange and make some new circles to overlap. With this technique, I feel the more overlapping, the better that my texture becomes. Again, the repeated patterns is a circle pattern that I'm repeating over and over again. This one, I'm going to mix the colors right on the rim, so that when I put blue and red and white right on the rim, here it is finished. Great job of using recycled materials. I'm not done yet. I've been saving this. It came from one of my tangerine bags. I thought, that feels good. It's going to be good for something. And here we go. It's got little holes in it, so I'm just kind of dabbing it into the paint. And when it touches down, only some areas touch. There's lots of areas that are empty. So if I overlap, I get this texture. Here it is, dry. I love this one. Now, I made some salt paper with the watercolor video. I can take a paper and add on top of it. So you could have done a paper and created some color on it and come back in later and add some more detail. This is one of my favorites. Looks like cotton candy. Now, the nice thing about using recycled items to do our paint with is cleanup could be easier. I can throw all these lids away, kind of fold them up, and toss them away. Now here are some other textured papers that I'm doing in other demonstrations. If you want to take a look at how they were created, check out those videos.